The restaurant lights shimmered like tiny stars reflected on polished glass, the hum of conversation and soft jazz weaving together into a tapestry of warmth and romance. But as Ethan sat at the table, nervously tapping his foot beneath the linen-draped surface, he couldn't help glancing at the door for the 10th, no, maybe the 20th, time. She wasn't late, not really. But something in him, that restless part that had waited too long for the right person to come along, made each second feel heavier than it should. Then the door opened, and there she was. Maya stepped inside, brushing back a few strands of hair that had escaped from her ponytail. Her dress was simple, borrowed maybe, and her sneakers looked like they'd run a marathon that day. The faintest hint of detergent clung to her, clean, honest, familiar, and beneath it, something softer, like dreams that refused to die even when the world tried to bury them. Ethan stood up instinctively, his heart caught somewhere between admiration and ache. She smiled shyly, tucking a loose strand behind her ear. "Sorry," she said, catching her breath. "Work ran late. I came straight here." He smiled, gesturing toward the seat across from him. "I'm just glad you came." She sat, smoothing her apron-wrinkled dress as if trying to erase the hours she'd spent scrubbing countertops and folding sheets. The dim lighting softened the exhaustion in her face, but not the quiet fire in her eyes. "So," Ethan said, after the waiter poured water for them both, "you work at the laundry across from the hospital, right?" "Yeah," she said, chuckling softly. 12-hour shifts, sometimes 13 if someone calls in sick. It's not exactly the dream job. But it's honest work," he said. Her eyes flickered with gratitude. Most people didn't say that. Most people pitied her or tried to change the subject. But Ethan didn't sound like he was pretending to make her feel better. He sounded like he meant it. Maya exhaled, shoulders easing a little. "It's something, I guess. My mom used to say detergent smells like second chances. You wash away the stains, and you start over. Every day's a new load, a new chance to do better." Ethan smiled. "That's beautiful." "Not as beautiful as your suit," she teased lightly, the corners of her lips curling. "You look like someone from another planet compared to where I came from." He laughed, rubbing the back of his neck. "You'd be surprised. My planet isn't as shiny as it looks." He was the CEO of a tech startup, young, successful, the kind of man who was usually surrounded by people who wanted something from him. Maya didn't know that. And for the first time in months, Ethan didn't want her to. He wanted her to see him, not his title or his balance sheet. As the night unfolded, their conversation flowed effortlessly, from childhood dreams to the taste of burnt coffee, from books they'd read halfway to regrets they still carried. She spoke about her younger brother, Aiden, who she was putting through school. About how her father had left, and her mother had passed 2 years later, leaving her with bills and promises she'd sworn to keep. "I wanted to study nursing," she said softly. "But life doesn't always wait for your dreams to catch up." Ethan's chest tightened. He saw something in her he'd lost in himself, a fight, a stubborn hope that refused to die even when the odds sneered at it. "Maybe," he said quietly, "dreams just take detours." She looked up, surprised by the gentleness in his voice. "You really believe that?" "I have to," he said. "Otherwise I'd still be the guy sleeping in his car 5 years ago." Her eyes widened. "You?" He chuckled. "Yeah. My company was just an idea back then, and I had nothing but a laptop and some bad coffee. I almost gave up, more than once. But I didn't." She leaned forward slightly, intrigued. "So what made you keep going?" He paused, looking at her, at the way she still smelled faintly of soap and hope. "Maybe I was chasing the same thing you are, a reason to keep believing it's all worth it." The waiter brought their food then, her simple pasta, his steak, and they ate with the ease of two people who didn't need to impress each other. By dessert, the heaviness in her shoulders had lifted, replaced by laughter that rang like wind chimes in a quiet street. But as the evening wore on, Ethan noticed something, her eyes darting to the clock, her fingers fidgeting near her phone. "You have somewhere to be?" he asked gently. She hesitated. I promised Aiden I'd help him with homework before bed. He gets anxious when I'm late. Ethan nodded. Of course. Let me drive you home. She shook her head quickly. No, it's okay. You've done enough. I'll take the bus. Maya, he said, voice low, sincere. Please. It's the least I can do. She hesitated, then nodded, smiling. All right. The drive was quiet at first, the city lights flickering across her tired face. When they reached her neighborhood, a narrow street lined with old apartment blocks, Ethan felt something twist inside him. Kids played under dim street lamps, their laughter echoing against cracked walls. The world here was smaller, harder, but alive. She turned to him as he parked. Thank you for tonight. Really? I haven't felt this light in a long time. He smiled. Then let's do it again. She hesitated, biting her lip. You sure you want to? Why wouldn't I? Because I'm the girl who smells like detergent, she said softly. And you're the guy who probably smells like success. He looked at her for a long moment. Then maybe I need more detergent in my life. She laughed, a sound that made him smile without meaning to. The days turned into weeks, and their worlds, so different, so distant, began to merge in quiet, unexpected ways. Ethan would stop by the laundry on his way home, pretending he had shirts to wash just so he could see her. Sometimes he'd bring coffee, sometimes sandwiches, always an excuse to share a few stolen minutes. The workers teased her gently, your rich boyfriend's here again. But she'd only blush and shake her head. He's not my boyfriend, she'd say, though her heart fluttered differently each time he smiled. But one evening, as the rain poured outside and thunder rolled low, Maya's boss, Mr. Gordon, barked at her from across the shop. You missed a stain again, Maya. You think people pay for this kind of work? I'm sorry, I'll fix it. You always say that. You're lucky I don't fire you right now. Ethan, standing quietly near the counter, clenched his fists. He wanted to say something, to defend her, but Maya shook her head slightly, a silent plea not to make things worse. When they stepped outside, she forced a smile. Sorry about that. He's just, like that. Ethan exhaled. You shouldn't have to put up with that. Maybe not, she said, but right now, it's all I have. Something inside him broke a little. He wanted to fix it, to fix everything for her. But he also knew that if he swooped in like a hero, he might take from her the very strength that made him admire her. Still, he couldn't stop thinking. That night, while she helped Aiden with homework, Ethan sat in his office staring at his laptop. Then he made a call, to a friend who managed a nearby hospital's laundry division. Hey, he said, I know someone you should meet. Hard worker. Honest. She deserves a break. A week later, Maya walked into the hospital laundry department for an interview. When the manager shook her hand and said, Ethan recommended you, she froze. Ethan? He hadn't told her. And when she got the job, a better salary, kinder hours, she cried. But not out of joy. Out of confusion. Gratitude tangled with pride in a knot she couldn't untie. That evening, when she met Ethan at their usual cafe, she looked at him differently. Why did you do it? She asked quietly. Because you deserve more, he said simply. Her eyes glistened. I wanted to earn it myself. You did, he said, reaching across the table. I just opened a door. You walked through it. She looked at him for a long time, and something unspoken passed between them. Trust, gratitude, maybe love beginning to take shape. Months passed. Maya thrived in her new job, her laughter lighter, her steps quicker. Aiden got into a good school. Life was still hard, but it was better. And one evening, Ethan took her to a rooftop garden overlooking the city. The skyline shimmered like a promise. I used to think success was about what you build, he said softly. Now I think it's about who you build it with. She looked at him, her eyes reflecting the city lights. Ethan, I'm just